Hello, you magical beings. It's Junie checking in with you guys about the Delphi, Idaho forest lanes, how Richard Allen's host, his lawyers, are saying that it's an Odinist cult. This is Odin. Okay. All right. I have an opinion about Richard Allen's lawyers blaming it on a cult and the runes and all this stuff that they're talking about. Okay. Runes are an ancient alphabet that existed in... There's many layers to the Celtic ancient runes. One of the ancient runes was just like little marks, like how, like an ancient rune is that actually how we use, like if you think about when somebody does counting and they mark like 1, 2, 3, 4, and then they draw a line through it for the number 5, so you know you have a total of 5. That's like an ancient rune too. The ancient Irish, the ancient Celts, the ancient sorry, my daughter's playing a video game upstairs and she's so loud. You know, the ancients have these ancient runes, okay? And I do runes. I have runes. And most of the definitions of runes do not talk about sacrificing children, okay? They talk about sacrifice, you know, hard work, sacrifice, the sacrifice that a person has to go through to get better, all right? But this is an ancient picture of Odin. There's some pictures of Odin where he has a missing eye. That's why he's called Odin the Seer, because he's an ancient warrior Viking, okay? And this is why I'm going to tell you that this whole thing about the Odinist sacrificing children. Now, don't get me wrong. There's some crazy cults out there, okay? Yeah, of course, there's some crazy cults out there that do some crazy stuff. But I hate to say it, it's... Oops, my ghost box just turned on by itself. Most of the cults that are hurting children happen to be Christian, okay? Let's just be real, all right? Let's be really realistic here. Most of the children that have died in the past few years have had nothing to do with a witch or Odinist or Satanist or witchcraft or any of that crap. It actually has to do with Christian cults, okay? They're the ones that hurt children the most, especially the LDS. No offense, it's not, you know, I'm not going to call any religion out particularly, but look at Lori Vallow, look at all the child sexual predator acts against children and these religious groups that claim to love God. The same God that I love, okay? I am still a Christian, right? But I'm educated in the old ways of our faith. And believe it or not, the Christian calendar goes right over top of Odin's calendar. My pagan calendar, it's copied, okay? Copied and pasted. You don't believe me? Google it and look it up. There's a reason why our solstices match. There's a reason why the winter solstice on December 21st turned into Jesus' birthday. There's a reason. It's always been Yule. It was Yule for thousands of years before it was ever Christmas. So don't forget where our ancient roots come from, where your ancestors come from, all right? And we all accepted Christianity. Even most witches, we still accept Christianity. And all of them are all up there working together. I don't pray to Odin, but I honor him. I respect him because he's a warrior god, all right? I don't pray to him, I pray to God. But I honor some of the ancient gods that my ancestors worshipped, okay? I'm connected to Druids. I have a long history in Ireland of Druid faith. My family goes back over 1,000 years. Maybe one day I'll share my last name with you. But I have history in Ireland. I have deep roots in Ireland where Druids lived. That's where a lot of my psychic gifts come from. Okay, so, or my my gifts. I don't want to say that I'm psychic, but a lot of my stuff comes from that. I want to tell you a little bit about Odin, and I want to tell you a little bit about Vikings, okay? They didn't sacrifice children. Children, if they were big human traffickers, okay? The Vikings were warriors. They came to your land, and they didn't just come and knock on your door nicely, okay? They came on your land, and they killed everybody, and the women and children, you turned into slaves. And you were human trafficked all over the world, okay? The Vikings had a huge, huge business for the transfer and sell of women and children, okay? There are historical stories of people that were slaves to Vikings, okay? And they weren't free. The Vikings had a very specific slave society, and they had their own society, okay? They were no joke. They were forced to be reckoned with. But they didn't kill children because they were worth more than gold, because they could sell them as a slave. You got more money for the child that you just killed basically their whole entire family, and they would human traffic children and women. Okay? That's the hard reality of it. They were warriors, and they didn't like to kill innocent things. They really didn't. Of course they killed women. I'm sure some women and children were killed. When they went in and did invasions and they went to war, if you were in a house and there was a woman and child in there, they were going to burn it down. These people were no joke, okay? They were tough warriors. But they had a code of ethics, okay? And they didn't just go out and sacrifice something weak. It's against them. They were strong warriors, and they had a code of ethics, and they would think it would be cowardice to sacrifice a child. They sacrificed animals. They sacrificed prisoners of war. And we have Burning Man for a reason. They used to burn prisoners of war in those big things, okay? Of course we don't do that anymore. We're a privileged society. But Odin was a warrior Viking king. Not one rune that I've looked up talks about sacrificing children, okay? And I do rune readings for you guys here. I do rune readings here. Okay? So I'll pull up a couple of alphabets so you can see the runes yourself, okay? Here's the runes. Odin invented the runes. They're just little symbols, all right? And you tell me which rune do you see says sacrifice a child. All right? It's an ancient alphabet. You see sacrifice a child anywhere on these runes? I don't see sacrificing children anywhere on these runes. If they mention sacrifice, it's like sacrificing, like, you have to go out and work hard for your family. You have to sacrifice yourself so you get stronger, okay? Hard work is sacrifice. They don't talk about sacrificing a child. So this whole cult thing that Richard Allen is talking about has got me pissed off, because it's just the fear that Christians do to us, okay? It's another fear tactic. Oh, fear the witches, fear the Odinists, because they're pagan. They're pagan. They don't believe in God. I guarantee you a lot of them still believe in God, okay? Not one rune says to sacrifice a child. Do you see it? Nope. Nope. Sorry. So I call bullshit on the Odinist theory with Richard Allen, okay? Now you can form sentences with these things, but it's still, I don't care how many runes you put together, it's not going to say sacrifice a child. These people were warriors. And if they sacrificed an innocent little girl, okay, they would be considered weak, and they wouldn't be able to get into Valhalla. Valhalla was their heaven. And only the strongest warriors got into Valhalla. It's not, for them to say that it's a bunch of cult people that killed those children is bullcrap. You're looking at probably something that's connected to a snuff film, a pedo ring, something like that. If they happen to find runes in the woods, then that might just be someone like me, because I have runes in the woods, but I don't sacrifice children there. I have them into little oak trees as a blessing to the oak tree, okay? To protect my oak tree, okay? Not to sacrifice children. Most witches love children. We love children, okay? Most pagans love children, and they still have their Christian core values. They still have their Christian core beliefs. So I'm going to call bullcrap on it. Odin's connected to the raven. Ravens are very smart. You see this raven right here? They're extremely smart, guys. They're intelligent birds, and they can speak to you. And Odin can speak to you through the birds. It's knowing the spirit of feathers, okay? Back in ancient times, we used to listen to birds. And I still listen to birds. If you tune in enough and you listen to the heart of a bird and listen to the words of a feather, there's symbolic meanings. Like if you see a blue jay, there might be some gossip about you. If an owl flies through your house, it's usually a bad omen. But if you see an owl and it hoots at you, that's a good omen. Any bird that flies through your house, that's a bad omen. If it comes in the front door and flies out the back door, sorry, death is going to come a knocking, because it takes out the spirit of people living in that house, okay? Yeah, these are just old traditions. These are things that have been passed down to me for generations, okay? Stories that my mother told me, all right? But I'm having a really hard time buying this lawyer saying that Richard Allen is innocent, and it's the runes that were written in on the trees and all this stuff, and it's the Odinists that were in the area and all this other crap. Odin would frown upon sacrificing a child. It wasn't in their culture to do so. In war is something different. In battle, that's something different, okay? But when they actually took prisoners of children, they were worth more than gold. And most, you'll hear stories that they're adopted into Viking families and they're treated just like, okay, they're treated just like the family. You know, I mean, of course, not all stories are going to be beautiful and all sunshine and everything, but there's Viking men that married slaves, Viking slave children that grew up to be strong warriors and went out and fought with the Vikings. They had a certain code that they followed, okay? And this is ancient barbaric times, all right? But even in ancient barbaric times, they wouldn't sacrifice two girls and put runes all over them. It's not their style. That would be considered weak and pathetic. Just like when they went to Greenland, when the Vikings lost, some of the Vikings went out and they went and discovered Greenland, they had a hard time killing sea lions because they felt like it was a weak kill. They wanted to kill like a wolf or a bear. And eventually they finally did give in to killing sea lions because they needed the blubber, okay? But there's stories of Vikings that didn't want to kill sea lions because they didn't feel like it was a manly kill. Just like they wouldn't want to kill two innocent girls because it's not a manly kill. They would have killed men, armed, that were willing to fight them like men on men, okay? There was a lot of honor in the way that they fought. So I have a really hard time wanting it to be that it's an Odinist cult. And I'm really sick and tired of people blaming pagans who love God, okay? We still love God. We're all working together. We love nature, and God gave us nature. God is in all things. Just because we say we're a pagan does not mean that we still don't love the same Christian God that you love. We just love him differently. We love him through acorns and trees and herbs and crystals and the gifts that God has blessed us with, okay? The true blessings that he's blessed us with. That's what we love. It's the gifts that God gives us in nature. The fact that we can plant butternut squash and plant a seed and grow squash from it, okay? Baboon is happening right now. It's time for pumpkins and squashes. And that's how I thank God, is because we can bring in our harvest and love God by eating what he provides for us and from our garden, okay? That doesn't make me a devil worshiper. And another thing about Satanists, a lot of you Christians don't even realize that Satanists don't worship the devil. They don't even worship the devil. Most Satanists this is the most extremely narcissistic religion out there. I'm not a Satanist, but like I've told you, I study all religions, okay? I study Muslim, I study Hinduism, I study the Christian faith, and I am Wicca that's a Christian too, okay? But what I'm telling you is Satanists are rebellious against all religions. They don't pray to the devil. They don't pray to God. They pray to themselves, and they treat their body like a temple. It's a very egotistical religion. But you see, Christians, they hear the word Satanist, and they automatically think the horns, they think of Satan, and they think of the devil, and they think that they're in there sacrificing children. And the fact is that most Satanists don't even want children because it holds them down. They're into they're into self-love, self-care, and putting themselves at the center of all religions. Okay, it's like I said, they're their own god. In Satanists, it just means that they worship themselves as a god. That's all that means. They do not pray to the devil, okay? Yes, there are devil worshipers. Yes, there are bad people, and there's bad witches out there that do bad things. But it's so tiny compared to what the Christians do to children, okay? These Christian cults like Jim Jones, Lori Vallow, the LDS lady that just got in trouble for duct taping her children. That's all LDS, guys. Those are Christian faiths. Okay? Those are the ones that are abusing children. So it really makes me mad that this lawyer, Richard Allen's lawyer, is blaming it on the Odinist. Odin would frown upon sacrificing children. Okay? Again, he's not my God. I don't pray to him. I use his runes. I'm very educated in Odinism. I honor Odin the seer because he is wise. And if you see a raven, that is Odin reaching out to you and telling you to find your fighting warrior spirit. That war might be on the horizon, okay? If you see a raven land at your windowsill, that is a message from Odin. That's how I honor him. I don't pray to him. I pray to God. The same God that Christians pray to. I am still a Christian, but I honor the gifts that my ancient ancestors practice. And Odin is part of that too. So I just wanted to explain it to you guys. Please don't buy into that crap, okay? Don't allow fear to control you. The witches and Satanists, they're really not the ones that you need to concern yourself with. The ones that you need to concern yourself with are controlled religions like Christianity, okay, that are actually hurting children. Just Google how many cases of cult killings of children are Christian-based. I love you all. God bless you all. My Christian friends, I am a Christian as well, but I am in contact with my old ancient ways as well. Okay? But I still love God, and God is trying to tell me to tell you all, please don't believe what this lawyer is trying to sell all of you. It's nothing but fear mongering. Don't fall for it. And don't fall for it in the real world either. Okay? Don't fall for it in the real world either. God bless. Bye-bye.